Does the either inability or desire not to have a goal weight always indicate ambivalence? Because I'm wondering whether or not, when I was thinking for me, I couldn't tell whether it was that when you said ambivalence, I thought maybe that was that. I thought it was that I'm pretty much kinesthetic, and my way of telling something really is through my body and seeing
the feel.
Comfortable.
Right.
But I don't know if that's, that also could be blocking something.
No, it wouldn't necessarily be ambivalence, but if you can't have a goal, okay, then you would get a goal not of a number, you would get a goal of a feeling into your body. Because if you don't have a goal, you can't get there. Okay? If you don't know that you're driving to Chicago, you'll end up in Portland.
Carol, one question occurred to me. I was doing some hypnosis on a woman one time, and she said, I want 130 pounds. But as I was doing the work, it occurred to me that 130 pounds per se may not really be the answer. It's really that she wanted to be slender, and she wanted to be trim, and she wanted to be fit. So using weight seems to me as a limiting factor in a way. Do you introduce other aspects such as being trim, being fit, and those things into that, or you just strictly use the weights?
I use both. If someone is hung up on the number, you got to give them some space to be hung up on it, and you can keep tapping on it. But if they are set, and as you're tapping on the feelings, the hang-ups will change. And they might end up at 128 and say, oh, my God, this is it. I didn't know it until I got here, but I don't need to be 125. But yes, the healthy, the fit, the trim, what do they actually want? What's the physiological feeling that they want? So that's a good point about the channels. If you're visual, get the picture of yourself, the auditory, get people saying, oh my God, you've lost the weight, congratulations. But then tap if that bothers you. People they want to lose the weight, but they don't want the attention. And then kinesthetically is the feel. How would you feel? How do you want to feel? Okay? Now I'd like a couple, maybe we could probably fit 3 or 4 up here, of people who really, if 10 is the highest, a perfect visualization of you at your goal weight. If you really couldn't get there, if you were between a 1 and a 5 and went, I don't know, it sounds good, but I can't get there. I'd like a few of you up here, and we're going to tap and change that so you can again see it, so it's in your mind, so you can see it, and then you can get there. So Sally, come on up. Good. Okay. Could you get to it auditorially or kinesthetically? Can you get to your quote goal? Where do you want to be? Could you get there? Why don't we try it anyway? This may not work. She is not a visual. She just doesn't visualize, and that's fine. Her favorite channels are otherwise, okay? So we'll just see if that changes. It may have no effect, okay? So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is, boy, can I see it. It is clear as a bell. Where? Okay. Okay, so that we'll see if that's the only thing that's going on. Often what happens is it's not that they're just kinesthetic. They can't get there because of emotional blocks and limiting beliefs, and that's what you need to tap on until they kind of break through, and all of a sudden they're like, I can see it. And that's very affirming and encouraging, and it works in the energy of your body. So what were you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Does it have to start at 1?
Does it have to start at 1? You couldn't see it. You could not see it at all.
No. Even if, I'm used to translating for myself into kinesthetic, but when you asked about the last time we were at our goal weight, I was 10 pounds away from my goal weight, and I was walking around in the street saying, do I look fat to you? Like, I just couldn't get it. So, then I was scared there.
She couldn't believe it. That's very important. Did you all read I think she was on People magazine, the famous singer, Carney Wilson, and she's lost, 150 pounds from the stomach stapling. And the headline was, I can't believe that thin person is me. Well, if she doesn't start believing that, she's going to blow whatever you do with that operation. I don't even know, blow the staples or whatever. So it doesn't always work. So you have to be able to believe it. This is what Sally's saying, is she lost the weight, was only 10 pounds from the goal weight, and had to get, feedback. How do I look? It's like, so she could not see. There was not an accurate vision. So now again, I don't know what's going to happen because these people are saying none of them are visuals anyway, so I may be asking the wrong questions. Suzanne.
Okay, I was a 5. I could flash it once in a while.
Good, okay. She could flash the scene, but she couldn't stay on it.
I couldn't see it at all, but I had done Gary's singing songs. Yes. And had a wonderful time with it, and I had an idea of what my ideal weight was, but when I went to write it down, a different number came out.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's just try, let me do what I usually do with this, with the visual, and see what shifts. And again, I don't have an attachment to making them get to a 10. If something else shifts and they say, don't worry about it, I can't see it, but I know what it is and I can get there, that's what I want, that's what I'm looking for, okay? So even though I can't picture myself clearly at my goal weight, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though there are emotional blocks to my picturing myself at my goal weight, I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway. Even though I have limitations, emotional and otherwise, to picturing myself at my goal weight, picturing my goal weight, I deeply and profoundly accept myself. Okay? I'm having trouble picturing myself at my goal weight. I can't see myself at my goal weight. I can't see myself at my goal weight. Something's blocking me from seeing myself at my goal weight. I can't picture myself at my goal weight. Something's in the way of picturing myself at my goal weight. The vision is fuzzy. I can't see it clearly or consistently. I can't picture myself at my goal weight. Okay. Then I just ask, what's shifting?
I saw somebody else at their goal weight. Yeah, I saw somebody.
And what does that mean to you as far as a change or progress, or is that a good thing, or is that?
The concept. I'm learning the concept.
Okay, the concept. Okay, all right.
But I'm disassociated from it.
Okay.
Okay, I had feelings of, well, if I get down there, will I still be healthy?
Okay, that's just a basic belief, block, limitation, fear. If she gets to her goal weight, I mean, that's a good question. If she reaches the goal, is she going to be unhealthy? So if that's the block that just got uncovered, terrific. She doesn't know, it may not be wise to get to that goal weight. And this is what will happen. This sometimes can happen over time with an anorexic. Okay, where some normalcy, the integration starts to happen, and they think a 74-pound woman would not be a good idea. Okay, what happened with you?
Okay, mine is clearly not about weight. A wave of sadness came through when you completed, and it was a sense like God didn't give me this gift of vision. What's wrong with me?
Okay. This is where it's not about weight, it's not about food. This is the kind of stuff that happens. Let's do one more on the visualization, okay? I'll do a general, I think that was a good generalization to say something's in the way. Then I don't get too rigid and think, oh, I know what's in the way. Okay? So even though something's in the way, of my seeing myself at my goal weight, and something's in the way of my getting to my goal weight, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though I have blocks to reaching my goal weight in my mind and in my body, I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway. Let's just go right to, okay? I have blocks to reaching my goal weight in my mind and my body. I can't seem to reach my vision of my goal weight in my mind and my body. I'm not letting myself see myself at my goal weight. I'm not sure what it means to be at my goal weight. I'm blocking myself from seeing myself at my goal weight. I can't see myself at my goal weight. I can't see myself at my goal weight in my mind or in my body. I have blocks in my mind to reaching my goal weight. Okay?
I can feel myself from here down having really cute, gorgeous legs and this wispy dress, like right there. But I can't say anything from here up yet.
Progress, progress. Excellent. So visually, someone who says, oh no, not me, I'm a kinesthetic, guess what? The vision is coming. Again, in this post that's coming, the next one from my class, she started seeing herself twirling in a party dress at her goal weight, and then that moved to normal everyday clothes. So it wasn't just, quote, special occasions. So visualization is starting.
Yeah, but I feel it.
And feel it. Still the kinesthetic, which is very important. You don't want to be just one channel either. I mean, try to get all the senses in there. So what happens, Suzanne, with you?
I came up with, I'm not doing it right, and I can't get the feelings that they're getting, and I'm not okay.
And which feeling? You're not getting the feelings that who was getting?
To be able to see it and see myself at that goal weight.
Okay. So something defective? You're feeling yourself as defective about that? Okay.
I slightly rewrote the words as you were doing it, and I feel a lot more space around me. I don't see anything, but I feel the sadness and the sense of failure aren't there.
And how does it connect to you originally talking about not being able to wanting to lose weight and not getting to a certain weight? What's the connection?
I came up because of the visualization. The weight is not, although it's fun. I mean, I thought I would go to 144, but my song went to 135, which I've never weighed in my adult life. And I kept singing it, and my weight's been going off. I mean, the weight part is not the big deal.
So the sadness about not, would you say originally, about God not giving her this gift has turned into now she feels and sees, has more space around her, so there's not so much sadness. Okay? Now, I'd like to do, even though I feel defective for the entire group. Okay? I'm pretty sure a few of you are going to be connecting to that, okay? Myself included. Even though I feel defective and inadequate because I can't do it right. Even though I feel defective and inadequate because I can't do it right. And everybody else is doing it right. I deeply and completely accept myself for all my limitations. Even though I feel inadequate and defective. Because I'm not doing it right. I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though I feel inadequate and defective on every level. And ashamed of myself. And all my limitations. I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. I feel inadequate and defective because I can't do it right. I feel inadequate and defective because I can't do it right. I feel inadequate and defective because I can never do it right. I'm never enough. I feel inadequate. I'm never enough. I feel inadequate. Something's wrong with me, and everybody else is okay. Something's wrong with me. Everybody else is fine. I feel inadequate, defective, and ashamed of myself for all of that. What's up?
Yeah, I just feel a lot of stuff going on.
So that triggered for Sally a lot of other feelings, maybe other issues that are coming up. Okay?
It's up there. It's about a 10 now.
10. The feeling of inadequacy and defective. Okay. Not connected to the visualization anymore. No. Okay.
For me, that blew it out. It's like it's a comedy.
It's okay. It turned into a comedy. You can leave now if you'd like. Oh, still can't visualize. Now that's okay. Okay. If just because my favorite channel, well, I can't decide. I never can decide. I can't make decisions about anything. So I don't know if my channel is visual or auditory. Don't impose that on your client. They're wonderful kinesthetic or auditory people, and they're not visual. So then there's no need to be a visual. It's just one of the things, if you can't get into either your body, mind, or senses the goal you want to reach, and again, it does not have to be the number, you're not going to be able to get there. You're going to float around. You won't be able to land. Okay? Now, this is up to both of you. I want you to respect your own privacy and confidentiality. Suzanne, would you like to talk about anything that it is bringing up, or we can just do another general I feel so deeply inadequate round.
No, it's okay. Something that did come up was in the weight issue was my grandmother, and she was very heavy. The whole side of the whole family side were very, very heavy, and I had a resentment to her. So and also, my mother got heavy, but not, she got portly, shall we say, and it was related to age, but also to drinking. Okay, and so that was coming up. There was that resistance. I'm not going to be that way, and all of a sudden I'm 20 pounds overweight.
And can you think of one thing that your grandmother said or did that made you feel inadequate?
Yeah, it just flashed. Don't wipe the plate clean.
Okay. I knew that was going on somewhere. Okay. And again, you do not. If you
It's
don't wanna
okay. When I think about being smaller, I worry about taking care of myself, being safe, and having boundaries.
Okay.
And
Threats going on. The picture of herself at the lower weight doesn't feel safe. That's one of the main psychological reversals.
so what I've done is I started with a personal trainer, and I've signed up for karate because I feel like if I can feel like I can whoop ass, I'll feel safer.
Okay, so the safety issue is very important. Let's do one more on the inadequacy, because everybody has the flash where somebody says one thing, oh, don't do it that way, sit up straight or whatever it is. Yours was cleaning the plate. Let's do one more on the inadequacy, and then I want to do another one on safety. And if your issue is not with the addictions, something else, even if it's the success issue we've been talking about, if you don't feel safe being successful or making twice as much money, you do the safety one that we're going to do second. But let's start with the, even though they made me feel inadequate by what they said, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though they made me feel inadequate, with their words, their looks, and their tone, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Okay, the forgiveness finger is on the inside of the index finger, the spot where the nail meets the finger, where the nail bed meets the finger, and you can make an O like that and just tap it. Okay, I forgive myself for feeling inadequate. I'm doing the best I can. I forgive them for what they said that taught me I was inadequate. I forgive them for the words they used, the criticism they gave me. They were doing the best they could, even though it was inadequate. Okay? I forgive myself for being inadequate and feeling inadequate. I still feel inadequate and that I'm not enough. I still don't think I'm doing it right. I still criticize myself every day. I'm not doing it right. I'm not enough. I'm inadequate. I've never been enough. I can't imagine myself being enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough.
One thing I wanted to say, I don't know if Steve's still here, but I have a lot of damage, nerve damage, and I have not been able to stand up this long in probably 15 years. This is incredible for me.
And because of the work you did with Steve?
Yeah.
Could you, there's a chair if you need to sit
Yes,
down.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And anything else about just the inadequacy there?
Well, I had some big releases over here.
Okay. All right. When in doubt.
Yeah, I think, it's like you don't even want to go there and remember all the kids and all the bad stuff. So you could just release it.
Okay. So she's feeling comfortable enough releasing it, the sense of inadequacy, flashes of memories of who said what. Okay. The they, you can be very specific and go through each one, but it's like Gary's saying about the trees through the forest. You want to say that again? Steve's right there. Did you hear that, Steve?
I just said because I worked with Steve this morning, I haven't been able to stand up this long in probably 15 years.
I think we took about 5 minutes, and I don't remember because I've treated so many people, but I think we needed to clear some meridians first.
Even though they never remember who I am.
But at my age, I can't remember everything. But, in other words, we just we just treated some meridians, and I don't remember what else, and that's pretty typical. So really what I'm saying is you need to, like Gary said, put out your antenna and open up your field of what you can treat. You're not going to hurt anybody, because you can do a lot more than you're doing now with the skills you've got.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. How are you doing after that last inadequacy?
It went down quite a bit, but there's still a little fear in there.
Okay. And what's the fear of now?
I came from an abusive family, so.
And the fear that you'll be abused again, or the fear that those feelings are coming up?
Yeah.
So this went again to another layer of feelings of being hurt and abused and violated. Okay? All right? Let's do, that will go, segue, that will be part of the safety. Okay? Okay. Even though I don't feel safe.
Even though I don't feel safe.
Changing.
Changing.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I'm afraid to feel safe.
Even though I'm afraid to feel safe.
Because I don't want to let my guard down. Because it could happen again. I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway. Even though I'm afraid to forgive them. Because I might let my guard down. I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. I'm afraid to feel safe. I don't feel safe. I'm afraid to feel safe. I don't feel safe. I'm afraid of the feelings. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I'm afraid to feel safe. Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, layers and layers coming up. Just starting, even though all we started with is she could flash at a 5 once in a while her goal weight. And this is what was uncovered. How are you doing right now?
Better. Hard to swallow, but better.
Hard to swallow, but better. Okay. So I would recommend, if Suzanne were my client, I'd go very slowly. You never want to overwhelm and flood them. So I would do more of until she felt like she could feel safe. And it may, again, not have anything to do, even though if she comes to me for as a weight loss client, it may have nothing to do with that. The rest of the session may be on safety issues, letting your guard down, violation, etc. How are you doing, Sally?
Well, I feel a little afraid, but I feel excited, and I feel like I'm in one of those movies where they morph somebody, and and I feel like I have all these like muscles growing.
Okay, this again from the person who said she couldn't visualize if you paid her, okay? So visualization and kinesthetics are coming together for her, okay? Now, if each of you, I always say to the client, I trust you. What's your theory? What's going on? What is the key word or theme that we would do next? And then I'm going to have you sit down. But what would we go to for you, Sally?
That it's really possible.
Okay. That it's possible to, and again, to reach your goal weight? Okay.
Not just reaching, to be there.
To be there and stay there. Remember, she had said before she feels threatened, thinks boundary issues going to happen, who's going to cross them. She didn't feel safe. Okay, so it is possible.
About hiding, not to have to hide anymore.
Okay. Okay. Even though I can feel safe, and I don't have to hide anymore from myself, from others, from my goals, or from success, I deeply and profoundly accept myself. Even though I still have some doubt that it's possible, that I can reach my goal weight and feel safe too. I deeply and profoundly accept myself. Even though I still fear that I won't be able to reach and maintain my goal weight and feel safe, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Myself anyway. Good. Okay. I still have some doubts. I still have some doubts. I'm afraid to let my guard down. I want it to be possible. It is possible. It's not possible. It is possible. I can see it. I can feel it. I can see it. I can feel it. I know it. I feel it. I see it. I know it. I can see it. Okay? And again, if you watch, Sally did a big A big sigh in the middle of that. How you doing now?
Oh, I'm okay. I just remembered I'm on videotape, and so so I'm hoping that next time people see me, I look a little different.
Not concerned so much that she can't get there, the possibility, but okay.
Yeah, because I know that I can make a decision. But I just want to see it be possible forever, not just for today.
Now, how was the original time when you said you went from not being able to visualize and then you had your legs down? How, just the picture of that, how's that moving?
Well, I'm kind of morphing. I have some...
The muscles are morphing.
Getting very cut.
She's getting Ripley. Good.
Kind of like Xena.
Xena, okay. We got Xena going on over here. Good. Okay.
It relaxed an awful lot. Yeah.
And if you look at Suzanne's face, in early hypnosis training, and I mean all hypnosis training, you're taught to see every little nuance in the facial muscles and eyebrow, I mean every single muscle. And if just up close, I can see it, and she's totally different. You can see it from there as well. So all that, I mean, and we hit so many deep layers there. Okay, thank you. Okay, good, okay. Good. Yes, hi.
I was wondering if you've had success working with sexual addiction.
Sexual addiction, I did have some success. A man who had just the same feelings, the same behavior, the same compulsivity, and for him it was every time he went to a gym. Okay? And it started to the tapping took away some of the buzz and some of the desire, and it brought up, he fled treatment, it brought up some of the feelings about his mother dying and other things that were happening that he wasn't ready to go to, and he was quite open about it. He said, this is, if I don't do my compulsive sexual behavior, which is no different than compulsive cocaine, compulsive eating, as far as what you're trying to do, I'm going to have to deal with some grief. Actually, both his parents were deceased. So I guess I haven't had success, but I taught him how to do it. He knew it worked. This is what'll surprise you. People will say, well, I know it works, so I'm not going to use it. And this is another thing. For the food, I say to people when I give homework, do not wait until you're in your car driving to Dunkin' Donuts to do the tapping, because you'll never do it, okay? So every morning, even if you're not feeling cravings, even though I tend to overeat when I'm anxious, even though I go for the donuts, but do not wait, because it'll never happen. If you're already driving or already going towards the fridge, you're halfway there in the addictive cycle, okay? That's the planning has already happened. It's already moving, so don't wait. Do it every day. Yes?
Carol, do you do this weight loss with groups too?
I do it in my classes with groups. I haven't started an ongoing group, which I'd like to do once a week or once every 2 weeks. And someone had asked about the structure of the classes that I do. They're between 20 and 30 people, and I do what I've done up here. Start with the craving, show it, and the combination of people, I mean, I get 15 of them are therapists who say, I'm successful financially, I'm successful in my relationships, everything's fine and peaceful, except the last thing to go is weight. So that I'm teaching them, and then they're doing it with their clients. So the structure is I do a class from 9 to 4, and I have them start with the cravings, then we move to the visualization, and the things that come up, I can never stick to a real agenda, because this is what you've seen that happened up here keeps happening. Yes?
I just wanted to find out, does this also work just at a deeper level with OCD people, obsessive compulsive?
Yes, it does, because the OCD is the same thing. It's just much stronger. It's the continuum. And someone was asking me, what about the serotonin levels? You know, the big deal with Prozac, the antidepressants, the SSRIs, was that people would come back and say, thanks, doc, I'm not as depressed. And by the way, do you know that I don't check my oven anymore before I leave? OCDs will check something, do a ritual, and they're 20 minutes late for work, so they get in trouble with it. But it's a continuum of anxiety. They have little rituals, and they don't feel safe if they don't check the oven 20 times. They don't feel safe if they don't walk backwards around the block before they go into their building. Okay? So it's a safety issue with it's this compulsion, this need to do the ritual soothes them. So the themes are the same, soothing, anxiety, safety, insecurity. So you want, so start with them. What's going on? What would, the best question, what would happen if you didn't allow yourself to go back to, people lock and unlock their door 20 times. Not just in New York either. Yes, we have 5 minutes to a break. Yes.
I was wondering if you have noticed any unique aspects when you talk about weight loss issues with men or men with body dysmorphia that can't stop working out.
They can't stop working out. I haven't noticed that. I have not had that in my practice. What I would do, though, with the body dysmorphia is go right for that, even though, and don't try to correct their image, same as with the anorexia. Don't try to correct the image, but say, even though I'm ugly and hate myself and look distorted and ashamed of myself, I deeply and completely accept myself. And the need, the drive to overexercise will be taken care of. It'll be folded into when you're taking care of the shame and the hatred and the body image. The last post I had sent out was about this guy, John, who he was only 10 or 15 pounds overweight, and we'd been working on all sorts of other issues, and all this stuff came out about his being a guy and being overweight, and that was a little bit embarrassing, but other things came out about his family. That doesn't really answer your question, but anyway, so I haven't noticed specific differences with men and women. The feelings seem to be the same. Okay? Yes.
Hi. Couple of things.
A little closer to the mic.
Okay. About 6 weeks before I came up here, I made a commitment to getting rid of the clutter in my life, and I was trading sessions with a hypnotherapist, and I said, well, I may work with you later on weight, but I have a feeling that the weight is a form of clutter. And so I set up a program every morning that I'd make a ritual out of tapping about whatever, set the alarm, get up early, did incense, candle, timer, the whole bit, tap for 15 minutes about whatever, kept notes. I don't think I hardly tapped about food, very little, and just cravings quit. In fact, one night I've said, I'm so tired, I've got to go to sleep, but I'm going to I should have a bite to eat before I go to sleep. I realized that the tiredness I was feeling was a sugar drop. I've never allowed myself to get to a sugar drop. I mean, I didn't.
Never been there
or I
before,
have,
right.
but it's been so long I didn't recognize it. Now, the thing I experienced in here, I can really visualize about a lot of things, but when it gets real close to the bone, I don't, literally, I don't. So I was having a hard time visualizing, but then I saw myself doing yoga postures that I cannot get into for the simple reason that the extra weight gets in the way. I'm so limber, I can do anything, but you can only bend extra weight so much. And I saw myself doing these postures like the one with the hands behind the back.
If that becomes the symbol, then that becomes the visual symbol of reaching the goal.
It was very kinesthetic.
Good. Good. Thank
Okay,
you. And that theory, what she's saying is she didn't tap for weight. She tapped for whatever need was behind her, collecting, clutter, things in the way, chaos. She tapped for that, and cravings have gone away.
Yeah.
So she's tapping for distinct feelings that are in her way, and the weight's going away as well. I mean, that's what's going on. Thank you. Mary.
Yes, you spoke about talking to the smoking clients,
Yes.
giving them the idea it would be 3 sessions. What about weight loss people? What do you tell them when they start?
I remind them that it takes time. See, a weight loss person will still come in and want to lose 20 pounds in a week. They really will, no kidding. So you want to say, we're going to work on it. I like to say it takes a couple of months. How long did it take you to get 20, 30, 40, 60 pounds overweight? Say, let's do it over time. We're going to start here. I kind of lay it out for them. We're going to start with cravings, work on this, work on the issues, and monitor progress. I don't want to stick to it'll 10 weeks and that's it. But within 2 months, most everything will come up.
Okay,
Do you know
so
what I mean?
they should expect a couple of months.
Expect a couple of months, and what's exciting is they'll come back to you and say, that's easy. When I did the client, John, he's lost 5 pounds in the first week. Now, my belief system is that it was easier for him because he's a guy, but he did, and he did lose it, and then the encouragement happens, but another thing came up, something else came up. And so then you tap for that.
And what about cost?
What about cost? I charge my regular fee. I charge my 45-minute New York City fee. They pay for the time. I have not done it per success, if you reach your goal weight, you pay me $1 million. haven't done that yet.
And your all-day weight loss workshop, how is that priced?
I charge $150 for a one-day workshop, 9 to 4. Paula, did you want to ask one last thing, and then we need to take a break? About that? Okay. our second break. Okay, just a couple of things. Someone asked me to go over briefly homework assignments I'll give to people, and I'll take notes during the session, and I do tons of telephone sessions, so I'm taking notes the whole time for those, and I'll say at the end of the session, or as I'm going along, I'll say, this is it, write this one down, and I won't give more than 3 or 4, and I'll say tap every day on these, and they won't, but give it to them anyway. And I'll say that when you get a little bored, if you've been tapping for 4 days on the fear of envy or on the inadequacy, when you get a little bored, that's your sign that you've really taken all this charge off and move over to another one. And other words and other themes will come up, and then you tap for those. But I always give homework because it makes them feel safe, it makes them feel in control, and I don't want anybody dependent on me. I want them to be able to learn this. Okay, I want them to learn it, and I want them to use it. And be able to use it themselves. I'm skipping around here, but one of the main issues, as I've mentioned it before, is what will happen if I lose the weight? Who's going to be mad at me? And that's almost as important as what will happen if I lose the weight, what issues, feelings, memories will come up, okay? So whether it's your peers or whether it's your mother or anybody who's got siblings, weight issues come into play. I worked with a woman who she had lost a great deal of weight before I met her, and then she had been stuck for 5 years at a plateau. She wasn't terribly unhappy with it, but she was in Overeaters Anonymous and doing well. But we did a session. We did nothing to do with food, and we were talking about success with her siblings, and both her siblings are in pretty much emotional trouble, and at an older age, you're still living at home and not working, and we did that, and I saw her 2 months later, and she said the weight has started to drop off again. So it had nothing to do with her cravings, how much she eats, when she goes out to dinner in New York. It all had to do with fear of, if I become more successful, what's going on. Now, someone else said, well, I want to do something on belief systems, okay, and the beliefs that block us from making changes. So I'd like, if possible, if you can do this, some people here who have a strong belief, a couple of beliefs, well, any strong beliefs that are blocking you. But if there are people here who do not have a physical manifestation of extra weight on, but you still have issues with body image, fear of gaining weight, or eating issues, or whatever it is, I'd like you to be able to come up here, okay? And we'll go for images. What some people say to me when they come in, I mean, I've got a woman who she says 5 or 10 pounds overweight, and she feels disgusting, and people are mad at her. Ugh, don't talk about your weight. And they get mad at her, and she feels like she has no right to say, but I do have an obsessional issue with food. I do hate my body. People don't want to hear it because she looks just fine. She really has, she said, I have a perfect size 8 body. Who's going to feel sorry for me? Anyway, so that blocks people who do have these issues from getting some help with it, okay? So we have 4 immediately, okay? So come on up. And what I want to ask you all is, what are the beliefs, what are the beliefs going on, or what are the issues that are going on around food or body image, or that's the other thing that's connected to the visualization. Get the body image, get the I hate my body, I hate how I always deal with women who say, I hate how one woman's talked to me, we're doing phone sessions, she goes, I hate my butt, I hate my butt. And that's her thing, so she's got to tap on, I hate my butt, with her strong Southern accent, but she needs to do that. So what are the issues, either body image, or actually, how is it feeling for you all to be up here in a weight loss seminar when you're not having the weight? Just start there.
I feel intense being up here, but I got really intense earlier with the tapping. I wasn't expecting it.
Okay, so just other things are going on. Okay. And do you want to say more specifics, or do you want to just tap for them and not reveal any more?
No, I can. And I was working a little bit with Gary. I feel like that I should lose 10 pounds because I want to have really defined, sculpted muscles, and there's so many mirrors in the bathrooms here. And, I thought I looked actually a little better than I did until I got here. That happens when I go trying clothes. I don't buy clothes very often. You look at the lighting, and I look at all my cellulite, and my butt looks just like the state of Arizona to me. And if I lose, but the consequence, and I think a lot of comments came up from 7th grade, what do you wear for a bra? 2 peanut shells and a rubber band. Like, I'm getting intense. But
Okay. So,
I lose 10 pounds and I've got nothing left up here. This is
okay.
where it goes.
Okay.
You know?
The fear of losing all her chest when she's
My
already
upper
got the
body,
7th
my
grade.
knees get skinny and the
Okay.
butt's still big.
Okay. So any other belief systems or just what's going on with the intensity around weight issues?
Well, I also I have actually the same type issues as you do, and I'd like to address being up here and what it feels like. It feels as though I don't belong here and I don't deserve to be here, and that any of the intense inadequacies that I feel really don't count because I'm not overweight. And the fact of the matter is that I'm not real keen on my body. I don't really like the way it looks, and then there's the scars from the baby and so on and so forth, and it's difficult for me because I want something more for me. And I believe I stopped working out with my trainer about a year and a half ago. I have no idea what happened. I just walked out one day, never walked back into my gym, and I have been working out for several years. And it just seems like my body has just taken a dump, and it'll never come back until I exercise or do something, or maybe I can't, or maybe it never will be. I don't know, but that's how it feels.
Just another comment. I've had people come to my office and say, they never met me before, and they say, I have to tell you, I have deep contempt for you because you're not overweight. And that goes both ways. So the people who aren't overweight fear that, feel it, get the looks, get the disapproval or whatever, and then the other people, the anxiety about the intensity of I hate people who aren't overweight. I mean, it goes both ways, but just those are more feelings to deal with. And then the intensity, like Barbara's saying, I don't feel I deserve to be up here. Okay? Marcia.
I feel I deserve to be up here. From the time I was a little girl and my sister was thinner than I, and I was told, oh, you don't need that dessert. You don't need that, whatever it was. I've always been feeling deprived and very focused on food, about what I can have, what I can't have, and also comparing myself to other women, other men, everybody. And I go through periods of obsessive thinking and being out of control with food and hating myself during those times. And so that's about it.
And any other belief systems that are going on? I can't possibly lose the weight, or I can't possibly not obsess about food because. I had a client who said to me, and it wasn't a repressed memory, but she was told in front of her mother by a doctor when she was, I think, in 9th grade. And what are you, 14 or 15? I think the doctor said something like, if you don't cut your daughter's food intake in half, like have a half a sandwich instead of a full one, she's going to have a weight issue when she's older. Well, this dawned on her. This wasn't through hypnosis regression or anything. It came up while we were tapping. She said, oh, my God, that's been sitting with me. So somewhere with Marcia, it's like you're saying, this was constant looking. You don't need that. You do need that. You shouldn't do this. Your sister's thinner. Well, people don't have to say it out loud either. Okay? And Kay.
Okay, I feel some parts of everything everyone said, but I've been on a diet my whole entire life. And I think if I let go, I weigh 200 pounds probably in 2 months. I watch every single thing I eat because I know, like the lunches, what happened to me out here is the feeling was, oh my gosh, look at all this food. I've got to eat it because I already paid for it and there's so much and I'll never get this kind of good food again, all this whipped cream on the cakes. And so I piled my plate up and then ate it, and then I felt so guilty the rest of the day because I knew that's 5 pounds right there. I mean, at least that I'm constantly trying.
Just thematically, like the pressure. It's like, so whether it's the pressure for you of what you're saying is like, if I lose the weight, then I'll really hate myself and it won't work and my butt will still be, it's all, okay. Now, if there was one word that each of you would say is the key thematically, and we'll go through, is it fear of, what would you say for you, Julie? You don't know, okay. How about the intensity right now? Up, okay. And is that just because I'm here with the mic for you, or no?
It's been up.
Been up the whole time. And is it about the losing weight? Or about hating yourself? Actually, you know what? It's more body image stuff for each of you, I think. Let's do the body image, okay? Yes.
Do you have room for one more up there?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Good. We have to be between these X's for the tape. So move in. Okay. And your name is John? Yeah. Okay. What would you say as far as thematically your beliefs or body image or deserving to be up here, or what would you say?
Well, it seems ridiculous for me to be up here because it seems like I have a terrific body, and when I have like this, yes, I feel fat.
Okay. Okay.
It's like, uh-oh, uh-oh. And if anybody saw what I had for lunch today, I piled up a plate really high. I am a big eater, and it's like there's this fight going on inside about gotta eat, and have to do this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, chronic conflict of needs. Okay, let's do body image. Now, I always tell my clients, even though I'm saying the sentences, if you want to change the language in your head or while you're tapping, do it. And also, if you'd like to switch points, I'm just going down the regular route. I often skip points and jump around with my clients. Do whatever toots your horn. You know, turn it around. Do what you need to. Change the language. But we'll get. Hopefully, I'm getting close enough. Okay. Even though I hate my body, no matter what I weigh, and no matter what I eat, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely accept myself anyway.
Even though I feel the pressure, to eat the perfect amount, and have the perfect body, I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway.
I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway.
Even though I can't tolerate being a little bit overweight,
Even though I can't tolerate being a little bit overweight.
and I can't tolerate hating my body,
And I can't tolerate hating my body.
but I do hate my body.
But I do hate my body.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I really hate all of my body,
Even though I really hate all of my body.
and I reject my body,
And I reject my body.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I sometimes think my concerns aren't valid,
Even though sometimes I think my concerns aren't valid.
and I think people are criticizing me for them,
And I think people are criticizing me for it.
I still hate my body anyway.
I still hate my body.
But I can accept myself and love myself even though I don't accept my body. Okay? I hate my body and I don't accept my shape. I hate my body and I don't accept my shape. I hate my body and I don't accept my shape. I hate my body and I don't accept my shape. I hate my body. I wish I were different. I'd give anything for a different body. I reject my body. I hate my body, and I always have. I hate my body, and I always have. I hate my proportions, and I hate my body. I hate my body, and I always have. Okay, take a deep breath. And then we'll just, again, I didn't suds anybody on body, how much do you hate your body. I just will go through and emotionally what layers come up. So
what?
So what? So how do you feel about that issue of hating your body and even if you have 1 inch here, and the pressure of what you eat, and just is anything shifting? Or any other feelings surfacing that may seem unrelated or related?
When I came up here, I felt absolutely colossal shame. And obviously, I don't feel shame. I feel a great deal of sadness.
Okay, so the shame moved to sadness, and we can still do another round on shame if we need to.
I just thought you were reading my mind. How I just, everything felt true, and I enjoyed saying it.
And how does it feel? How does the body hatred, the just, there's so many mirrors, and I can't get away from seeing how much I hate my body, and if I lose the weight, I'll be flat. How does...
It feels hopeless because there's no way to be.
Okay, trapped. Okay. And that would have been another way to start, is even though I feel trapped in my own body, but I didn't.
I found myself not wanting to use the verbiage. afraid that maybe intellectually I can look at my body and say, you know, it's really not all that fired bad, regardless of what I feel inside. The outside is still working for the rest of the world. It's just not working for me. And so I don't want to lose the rest of the world. And there was a big conflict.
I had a strong image of being 16 years old or 15 years old, and I was at a dance, and I was dancing with Michael Cohn, who told me, and we were doing the twist, and he told me, gee, Marcia, you don't have much of a body, but you sure know how to use it. And that's bringing up a lot of stuff, and I had no idea that that was in there.
I just felt a lot of conflict because it's not so much hating my body, but being terrified that I'm going to, like, be 200 pounds if I don't stay on guard every minute.
Okay, hers was more in the beginning that way, that she was afraid if she let go of control. Okay, trying to think where to go now because they're different enough. Let's, even though I'm ashamed of my body and what I might look like, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm ashamed of the conflict I have about my body, they're all conflicted about the conflict I have about my body, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm ashamed that I have this conflict about my body, and that I torture myself with eating, with thoughts, with fears, with control, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I feel ashamed of my body, ashamed of my thoughts, and ashamed of my self-hatred, I deeply and completely accept myself. I have this conflict about my body. I can't let go of this conflict about my body. I feel ashamed of my body and trapped inside my body. I feel trapped in my thoughts and trapped in my body. I feel trapped by my thoughts and trapped by my body. I feel trapped by what other people have said. And I feel trapped by what I think. And I feel trapped by my physical body. I feel trapped and conflicted in my body and in my mind. I feel trapped and conflicted in my body and in my mind. Now, individually, these would have been pretty different, so I was just kind of doing some themes, but like with Marcia, I would have done specifically on when, who, what it felt like, the charge she got on that comment, and with Kay as well. But how are you doing with those words?
That felt much better, much, much better. Mm-hmm.
But you're still afraid, though, if you let go, you'll balloon.
Yeah, I think it's reality, maybe I would.
Right. There's the conviction. Reality, it's not a fear. She's arguing, I mean, she's saying it's not a fear, Carol, it's going to happen, okay? Now, that conviction you can work on, okay? So that it moves to a more realistic outcome, okay? How are you doing? And I know we didn't specifically go to that statement that happened,
But when you said that, I felt a tremendous amount of relief, but I'm feeling so angry right now.
And next time we'll do an anger about the conflict, okay?
No, I'm angry at Michael Cohn.
Oh, yeah, okay. Julie, how are you doing?
Yeah, it's the comments from other people. There's so many, from girls and boys, and
criticisms of your body.
Yeah, it's like even the times when it was really fit, there were negative consequences for being really fit. Like the older sister, my friend in 9th grade, said that I had a boy's butt. I don't want to have a boy's butt. I want to have a woman's butt.
She couldn't win, right?
No,
there's
no way to be. And just associations with, this catch-22.
Trap again.
A complete trap.
Okay.
I think I'm getting it. That it's like the body identity kind of froze when I was 14 years old and I was 6 feet tall and 120 pounds or something like that. And it's almost like if I were to get to my real weight, somehow that wouldn't be me.
The identity issue.
And the only time I ever gained weight was in a 2-month period when I got back from India. And I gained 25 pounds and then stopped. But it feels like an identity piece, like that's just not me.
Okay, who am I? Okay, and that goes both directions, up and down. Okay, what did I say I was going to do? The trap again, and the anger. Okay, whatever the anger applies to, add that either in your mind or in the words. Okay, and so yours might be angry at the control or angry at your mother, and yes, the trust is very important with this, with the obsession. Like someone doesn't trust that they won't go out there and take the entire chocolate mousse back to their room. And that fear and anxiety is threatening, very upsetting. It really affects you, okay? So replace whatever you need to with the anger, okay? Even though I feel angry at them for all their comments, all their criticism, all their disapproval of my body, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I resent them for picking at my body, for criticizing how I looked, and for not accepting me for who I was, at any weight and at any shape. I deeply and completely accept myself at any weight, at any shape. Even though I'm mad at them for what they said about my body, how they made me feel about my body, I deeply and completely accept myself. I'm mad at them for how they made me feel and what they said about my body. I'm mad about all those comments about my body and my shape. I'm mad at them for all those comments about my body and my shape. I'm mad at them for the comments and the criticism, and mad at myself for holding on to it. I'm mad about the comments and the criticism, and at myself for holding on to it. I resent the criticism, and I resent them. I resent, they don't really think they need to. Yes?
Carol, question. I'm getting a vision of how deeply, how quickly this goes so deeply.
Yes.
And if you're doing a one day and it's not a follow-through situation where you're going to have a series, how do you deal with the follow-through when people may have opened up more in one day than they have opened up in years of therapy and so forth?
They often come to me for individual sessions, for a couple of sessions. I give them all homework assignments, and that's what I do. And they can contact me, and I have them ask me questions and contact me through email. Nothing is, it doesn't happen that they get so flooded and I leave them on Fifth Avenue in New York and they're a puddle. I mean, we clean up as much as possible during the class, and the EFT does it so quickly. And we have defense mechanisms that make us stop appropriately and put a lid on it. Okay.
I guess I was just wondering what kind of warning we might want to give people. You know, if you sign up for this class, you may really get into just let that be. Let people.
I wouldn't ever give a warning.
Well, not a warning. That's
but
not
I know.
right
No,
word,
I know
but
what you're asking. But
yeah, the issue of sort of a disclaimer, something like people agree this is they will take responsibility for themselves or something. I don't know.
I say that in the beginning of the class anyway, when I'm covering confidentiality, and if you don't want to reveal something in the class, you don't need to. Again, I just haven't found that to be. It's not an anxiety for me.
I see.
So I'm not covering it. Okay. I just wanted to say one thing. We didn't get to it because we're out of time. But my page on the self-image is just so important. It's what Gary talks about. If you can't see it, you're not going to get there. It just couldn't be more important. And that stuff about the reticular formation, if you don't believe in that, my mother can find a 4-leaf clover in any patch, any day, any hour, okay? And so can her brother, and so can her best childhood friend. because their mind, they believe they can. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to find one. I think it's impossible, okay? But their mind is on it. They believe they can do it. They're in it. And I swear, I've watched them, and they walk around. None of them have good eyesight. They're all, 3 of them are 70 and 72 years old. And they're walking like this and talking to me, and my mother will say, hold on a second, pick it up, and she'll give it to me. It's just crazy. So reticular formation works for whatever your thing is. But just read over the self-image part. It is so important, the law of attraction. That's why the visualization is important. If you can't see it, you can't get thin if you are thinking and feeling, I'm so fat, I hate my body, this will never work. You can't possibly get it, okay? So, and do the affirmations. They're a lot of fun. Again, they're on Gary's tapes as well. I have people write it down. It's very effective to write. My normal weight is whatever it is, and I weigh that now. Write it down over and over again. And I had a client who said, well, I don't want to write it down. Somebody might see it. We'll write it down and throw it out. But just make sure you're accessing that and writing it down and seeing it and believing it. So read over that, the end result imagery, and use EFT on any single block you come up against. Time for one. Do we have time for one last comment?
Carol, I just wanted to make a comment about something that came up for me in the anger section that wasn't mentioned, and it was anger at the media.
Okay,
I
good.
feel like I've forgiven my
Good.
family. But
Okay.
the media and all these images that keep getting flashed about what we're supposed to look like and what fit is and what trim
Okay.
is. And
Good. Good. Thank you. All right. Thank you.